Frustration boiled beneath my calm exterior as John fumbled with the map, each wrong turn pulling us deeper into a mistake I hadn't anticipated. Little did I realize, the cost of following him was about to skyrocket. Taking a deep breath, I confronted him, an unspoken question hanging heavy in the air. "Are we lost?" I asked, my gaze fixed on his overconfident facade. His surefire response only fueled the sinking feeling that our journey was careening off course. He clutched the map like a shield, and I yearned to snatch it away. But his ties to my best friend restrained my impulse. Disgusted, I turned away, opting for silence over words I might regret. In my quest for reason, I found Marie near the dancing flames. Urgently, I implored her to relay the seriousness to her boyfriend. A mischievous grin played on her lips as she dismissed the idea of being lost. "We just don't know exactly where we are," she teased, trying to inject humor into the tension. Yet laughter escaped me. The weight of our situation pressed on, and the story of our doomed adventure was only unfolding. Trey encouraged me to relax and enjoy the trip, emphasizing that we had just set up camp on the first day with 3 more to go. Marie promised we'd find our location tomorrow, but doubt filled my eyes. Trey suggested enjoying the beautiful nature around us, making me feel insignificant as I gazed at the surrounding trees. Despite our predicament, our camp on top of a small hill offered a decent view, even if it mostly consisted of treetops. Acknowledging the potential danger in nature, I sat down, grabbing a stick. Marie jokingly referred to me as Little Miss Sunshine as I impaled a marshmallow and held it over the flames, relishing in the process. Jeannie joined us, seemingly unaware of the previous banter. Handing her a marshmallow on a stick, I warned her to be careful, but my comment led to laughter, and eventually Jeannie storming off in embarrassment. Observing her departure, I remarked, "I guess she has another stick," provoking more laughter. Soren, curious about the commotion, joined us, and after failed attempts to explain the humor, he decided to roast his marshmallow. John, concerned about drawing attention, requested we keep the noise down. Trey, jokingly wondering if the owls would call the cops, triggered a round of snickers. John, expressing a fear of something more significant, mentioned the possibility of encountering a deer, a bear, or even a skinwalker. My curiosity got the better of me, and I dared him to elaborate, but he remained focused on the fire, leaving the question unanswered. Around the fire, everyone displayed some form of exasperation. Soren shaking his head, Trey rolling his eyes, Marie putting her face in her palm, and me staring at John. Expressing disbelief, I questioned John about his beliefs, to which he, still looking down, offered a nonchalant shrug, admitting, "Kinda, I guess." Before I could convey my frustration, a woman's piercing shriek echoed from the fading light of the forest. We exchanged glances, each confirming we had heard it. Concerned, I questioned, was that Jeannie. In an instant, we were on our feet, dashing to Jeannie's tent, only to find it empty. Trey produced a flashlight, scanning the trees as we debated the sound's origin. John, Soren, and I each suggested different directions, prompting me to bite my tongue to avoid commenting on John's lack of direction. I proposed separating, John and Marie going one way, Trey and I going another. Soren, unsure of what to do, asked, "What should I do?" I instructed him to stay at the campsite in case Jeannie returned. Concerned about needing help, Soren scanned the trees as if they had transformed into monsters. I shrugged, saying, "Scream," before disappearing into the forest with Trey. With a sliver of light still in the sky, dusk surrendered to the oncoming darkness as we weaved slowly through the trees. The further we ventured, the darker it became, as if the trees were absorbing the light. Our flashlights fought against the dark, but they were mere pinpricks of light in the oppressive darkness. Calling Jeannie's name, I heard only my echo. Aware of the noise we made, I halted. But Trey, moving silently and steadily, seemed to create less disturbance despite his larger size. Listening for Jeannie's response, Trey held out his arm, signaling me to stop. Initially hearing nothing, I fought down my frustration, but eventually I picked up a faint sound. "A river?" I asked as Trey nodded. Considering the possibility that Jeannie might have gone there, Trey suggested checking it out, leading us downhill. Navigating the steeper slope proved challenging, with trees preventing us from sliding all the way down to the river. Reaching the fast-flowing river, we ensured a safe distance to avoid being swept away. Commenting on the potential distance Jeannie could have traveled if she fell in, Trey seemed frozen, staring across the river. Following his gaze, I spotted something, a creature on the other side, covered in light gray fur, almost silver. It resembled a bear but leaner, standing on hind legs with menacing claws and fangs. Trey whispered, "You're seeing this, right?" I responded with a reference to its predatory appearance. Concerned about Jeannie, Trey suggested returning to the camp. We backed away from the river, attempting to keep an eye on the creature while climbing up. We completed the ascent of the hill in silence, and at one point, we seemed to lose our way. Turning off our flashlights, we spotted the glow of the fire in the distance to the right. Following the light, we reached the camp, only to find it empty. A search of the tents for Soren yielded no results. Suddenly, John burst through the trees and into the firelight, breathing heavily. Trey inquired about his well-being, while I focused on Marie's whereabouts. John explained that they got separated and he ended up back at camp after trying to find her. Frustrated, I grabbed John's shirt, questioning him about losing Marie. Threatening a punch, I held back my anger as Marie stepped into the firelight, wondering what was happening. Relenting, I released John and confronted Marie about him losing her. John tried to downplay it, cringing under my glare. Amidst the tension, Marie clarified that she wasn't lost, and we hadn't found Jeannie either. Considering the darkness, I suggested postponing the search until morning. Trey raised concerns about Soren being missing, and John advocated for searching despite my earlier decision. Exasperated, I confronted John, questioning the logic of searching in the dark. Eventually, I proposed the idea of taking turns staying up to tend the fire for those who might return. Marie agreed to stay up initially, with Trey offering to relieve her later. I suggested waking me after that shift. As we discussed the plan, John stormed off to his tent in frustration. I exchanged a grin with Marie, teasing her about the anticipation of an intimate evening. She blushed, but dismissed the notion, instructing me to sleep. Leaving her with a fake smile, I headed to my tent, hoping the mysterious creature remained on its side of the river. I awoke in darkness, my tent shrouded in shadows. Panic surged as I saw a large silhouette reaching for me. Reacting on instinct, I grabbed my flashlight and swung it at the figure, only to realize it was Trey. "Ow!" he exclaimed. "What the hell did you do that for?" Apologizing, I learned it was now my turn for the watch. Sighing, I accepted the responsibility, knowing I would have to apologize again when Trey woke up. Deciding to take a sweatshirt to ward off the cool forest air, I stepped out into the chilly breeze, adding a log to the fire. I sat in silence, watching the flames dance and hoping to stay awake until sunrise. Amidst the quiet, I heard muffled conversation from John and Marie's tent, eventually replaced by soft moans. Smiling at John's apparent success, I found myself somewhat jealous, yearning for the relaxation of a relationship on a camping trip. While lost in thoughts, rustling in the trees grabbed my attention. Alarmed, I grabbed my flashlight, scanning the area where the sound originated. Shaking with fear, I contemplated how to protect my friends from an approaching creature. Frozen in place, I watched as the creature revealed itself, only to discover it was Jeannie. Shocked, I rushed to her aid, realizing her clothes were torn and patches of red stained them. Helping her back to her tent, Jeannie mumbled through ragged breaths. As she lay down, she muttered a single word, Soren. A chill ran down my spine. Had Soren caused this? Or was he in danger too? Exiting the tent, I felt a mix of relief, puzzlement, and fear. Jeannie had returned, but Soren was still missing. I wondered about Jeannie's ordeal, whether she had encountered the creature we saw. The questions piled up. But I had to wait for her to wake. The rest of my watch passed with occasional jumps at rustling sounds. When Marie emerged in the morning, refreshed and glowing, I couldn't help but feel a sense of bitterness. Nonchalantly, she inquired about my sleep, and I reluctantly shared that Jeannie had returned during the night. Curious and concerned, Marie bombarded me with questions about Jeannie's well-being and her reason for wandering off. Annoyed, I explained that she collapsed in my arms, and it wasn't the time for 20 questions. As I spoke, Marie took a step back, seemingly surprised by my tone. "Just wake me when she feels like talking," I declared, brushing past Marie and heading to my tent. Exhausted, I entered and collapsed onto my sleeping bag, eager for some rest. It felt like mere moments before I was shaken awake. Irritated, I swatted away the disturbance, insisting I had just laid down. Trey informed me that 4 hours had passed, and Jeannie wanted to talk. Reluctantly, I rose from my makeshift bed, stretched, and followed Trey outside. The sun hung high in the sky, and Jeannie sat on a log with coffee in hand. John and Marie were beside her, and I settled on the other side near the dwindling fire. As Jeannie lowered her cup, she began to speak. Expressing her anger toward us, Jeannie explained that she went for a walk in the woods to cool off. Disoriented on her return, she wandered for hours in the dark. Her distress intensified when she encountered Soren, who had undergone a transformation. Overcome with emotion, she sobbed, revealing slash marks on her body from Soren's attacks. Apologizing, I inquired about Soren's transformation, and Jeannie described his growth: increased hairiness, longer limbs, and claws. I noticed Trey motionless and attentive, absorbing every detail. Jeannie continued, detailing her desperate attempts to escape and her eventual hiding spot beneath a fallen tree. As she spoke, Trey's expression remained unreadable. Eventually, Jeannie recounted how she fell asleep, awakened near dawn, and seized the opportunity to return to camp before Soren could. John expressed surprise, but Trey, with a stoic demeanor, labeled Soren a monster